This is a handmade Lost in Space toy collection. As you know, Lost in Space was a 60s television programme, but in the late 80s the whole series was shown on British television, and at that time I discovered it myself. I thought it was fantastic, and one of the first things I did with it was to create an action figure. I had a really old broken Action Man, or G.I. Joe, which was in a very poor condition. I had to fix him back together and just paint him up, and I made him into a Major West figure. So basically he's wearing an original 60s silver spacesuit, not in great condition by any means, and some red material and stitched together into his waistcoat, and the helmet. I think it was a shampoo bottle lid. And I cut it out. It wasn't large enough, I remember. Added some more plastic, cut around, and tried to make it look like the one in the series. And the box was a breakfast cereal packet. It was inside there, and it's roughly the same size as Action Man and G.I. Joe boxes. Painted in with watercolours. Just very simple there, not the greatest artist, but really enjoyed trying to get the flavour of the programme. And imagine that this was an original toy from the programme itself, which would be very expensive if it did exist. Very valuable vintage toy. Show you around all four sides. The other side there. Different design. This was 24 years ago when I made this, so this is a really nice memory. There you are, different figures, pictures. Okay, much more up to date. 4 or 5 years ago, I did an X-ray version of the G52. What got this started was a cake container. So if we just open that up. Not going for strict accuracy, of course. It kind of resembled the shape of the G52. There we are. There's the cake container. I had a lot of fun trying to make it into a transparent or see-through version of the famous spacecraft. I'll take the lid off there. Okay. All the interior. It's reasonably accurate to the programme, but it's just made with bits of junk. There's a sort of ground level view there. You can see the astrogator. I think that was from a sweets container, candy container. And the freezing tubes was one long transparent tube, which again I think contained some candy, and I cut it down into equal parts, and then just used some game counters for the top and bottom and glued them together. And then you've got the control room, just about seeing there, with little pieces of black card, just very simply cut out and then painted to resemble all the instrument panels. Again, using little bits and pieces of just whatever really, beads and bits of junk, maybe some Lego. There's the ladder going down, and a spring to represent the lift. It's kind of crude stuff, but you know, it's fun, you know, and it makes you appreciate shapes and the way things are done. If you look back at the back here, it makes you think of the set on the programme, how it probably was done. You know, one side is all plain and wood and scaffolding probably inside. The other side is the fantastic designs that we all know. I don't know if you can see through into the bottom there, but there is actually the lower deck as well. There's a lot of reflection, so you can't really see with the camera. But the little bedrooms are represented. I've divided them up with some sort of corrugated miniature cardboard. Just see through into there. Not very well, I'm afraid. But I did do a window viewport for the bottom and the top. You can see in there a little bit. going up above to the upper viewport. The box itself was, I think it was from some clothing, probably a shirt and tie package or something like that. And again, just painted up and designs made with paper and glued on. Actually, I tried to make it slightly resemble a television set. So the screen and the buttons on the side there. Turn it around. I like the side. And the sort of graphic from the opening credits. And the back. See inside. So again, imagining it like it's a real toy, or a real vintage toy is the preference. That's the idea. Just giving that idea. More graphics from the opening credits there. Just paper and cut out and glued on. Very simple. But fun. And finally, Chariot and Cyclops Giant. This again about 4 or 5 years ago. It was a Tupperware tub, picnic sandwich box type of plastic container. Pull him out of there. It's a static model, the tracks don't move or anything, but I just sawed the tub down. It's like the end of the tub. I sawed that off, and then the angles on it looked cool, a little bit like the Chariot, and used bits and bobs for all the side pieces and the top, and some soldier figures altered, cut and changed and painted to try and resemble the Robinson family inside. I can't remember what I did for the tracks. I can't remember what they were from, but they don't move or anything, but they just glued together, and the wheels are just drawing pins with toy car tyres glued around them. Very simple. Again, if that was a real toy from the time the programme was made, it would be very valuable. The Cyclops Giant is a paper mache figure. Tweet about probably the most accurate thing on him. It's just fun, really. There we are. I should try and show you the box. If I can. Pull him out of there. So the box is again painted up with watercolours and felt tip pens, and just very simple graphics and some pictures cut out from scrapbooks and stuff. There's a real picture of a snowcat there. Very big chunky box, a little bit like the Remco robot box, not that I've ever had one, but that type of a nature. There we are. So that's a little handmade Lost in Space collection. I did also start but never completed a figure of Dr. Smith, and all I've got to show for it is the box I began making. There you can see it's a cereal, again a cereal packet. Again, this was in the late 80s when the programme was shown on the television in Britain. So I had a breakfast cereal packet, and the intention was to get an Action Man or G.I. Joe type figure and make him somehow into Dr. Smith. I never really got round to it, but I started painting the box, so I must have been enthusiastic to try and do it. I love this kind of simple artwork that you get on real toys. I like to have fun with things as well. Okay, so that's how that goes. If you do any more, I'll video them. Thanks a lot. Bye.